Hello. 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 Wrestles with microphone stand. I managed to break 3 microphone stands at the Wicker Man. I like to play with them. This is my attempt to be sued by McDonald's. I've tried many times. They don't go to poetry readings. I've been to McDonald's. They only sell burgers, you know, and they sell veggie burgers in there, which is kind of ridiculous, isn't it? It's ridiculous, and the taste horrible. And I once went in and bought one of these. They didn't have anything else because I'm a veggie, so they didn't have anything else but had these sort of tatty scum things, which tasted like cork tiles. So I read this, and we were talking religion earlier on in the first half. This is I think I am here to convert you to Mac God. There is no God but Mac God, and Ronald is his prophet. And the Lord spake unto Ronald, saying, Make thee burgers of undisclosed ingredients and fat content, and distribute them among the punters, and build me a double neon golden arch to commemorate me on every hillside and on every industrial estate, so that my people shall know where to gather in my worship, and let them taste the communion of the cheeseburger and the Coke, and shun the temptations of Pepsi. And Ronald was content with this, building the double ark of the covenant as a promise to man that never again would he be without cholesterol. And Mac God instructed Ronald for the second time, saying, Gather me acolytes of the spotty and the acne variety, that they may spit upon the burgers of the unrighteous, and dress them in the robes and raiments of baseball priests, and let them be monosyllabic at the sacred windows of ordering. And Ronald ensured that his disciples were dull and lifeless and incapable of stringing a sentence together. And Mac God looked upon the scene and deemed it regular. And then Mac God spake once more and for the last time to Ronald, telling him to adorn his face with the white grease paint and generally frighten the children with the crisping of balloons and pointless juggling. For old MacDonald is a jealous god and hath a beef farm called South America. And Ronald was wroth, and other things ending in oath, but not broth. Threatened plagues of sesame seeds and indeed poppy seeds that catcheth in your teeth or dentureth, and a scourge of cardboard fries that shall be as dead as the Dead Sea in terms of salt and deadness. For I bring not forth food for the pleasure of the tongue, nor food that will please the likes of you, but pap that will sustain you, for the pap you shall live through. And Ronald smiled and was well in with the Disney franchise, saying, For the people of the mouse shall be our brethren, and the Big Mac shall lie down with the lamb and make us the kebab burger. And those who partake of the drive-through communion shall sit on the right hand of our Father MacDonald, who farts in heaven without the aid of Sawyer, repeating after me, There is no God but Mac God, and he shall make a prophet. Garrett off me, and but they never bother. They never do anything. I sent it to McDonald's. They just ignore these things. This is supposed to be litigious. Rubbish. This is The original Thomas Crown affair had a song called Windmills of Your Mind.
Hey.
And this is my version of it. Like a circle in a spiral, like a wheel within a wheel, teleological and recurring, like a sociology degree, like a condom in a blender, like a tampon in a bog, never flushing, just revolving like a bollock-licking dog. Like a blowjob on a waltzer, like a cat in a centrifuge, like Charlie Manson's Helter Skelter, like a oolong, that is rouge. Like the constant repetition of Friends on Sky TV, like the sound of one hand clapping in an audience of amputees. Like a hamster that keeps running in the treadmill of its cage, like a hula hoop gyrating round the inches of your waist, like an amateur circumcision, or a dervish spinning plates, like a mislaid menstrual cycle, or the yo-yo. That is fate. And the world is just a football in the Wembley of space as the filter tip unwinds on the yellow cubes you find in the urinals of your mind. When you knew that it was over, was it catch-22, putting square pegs in round holes, cutting corners off Rubik's Cube, coins that jingle in my pocket, prepare for jangling in your bed. Why did I come so quickly? Is it something that you said? The landing, leave the patches on the floor. Is the sound of distant drumming just the bailiff at the door? As the toilet roll unwinds on the puppies that you find, the adverts of your mind, as the bandages unwind on the mummies that you find in the sarcophagus of your mind. When you knew that it was over, were you suddenly aware that random images of circular motion don't get you anywhere? I lived in Sunderland in the northeast of England for a while, and I lived a little way outside of it. I used to catch the bus every morning from a very small town, and one day something miraculous happened. We were stood at the bus stop, and the bus pulled up, and there was a woman driving, and people stood back, aghast, and all obviously moved to another bus stop. But then I got on. I was a student. Cosmopolitan. And obviously I got off a couple of stops later because I didn't want to be thrown out of the town I was living in for being a pervert. But I noticed that on the bus, lots of people as they got on had different ways of greeting the woman bus driver. So this is called, it's got a very catchy title, it's called 10 Problematical Things to Say to a Woman Bus Driver on Boarding the Sunderland Bus, with apologies to Adrian Mitchell for stealing his wheelbarrow. Right. Number 1. Set your faces to irony. Number 1. Patronising. If you need any help on the big corners, just give us a shout. I'll be pleased to do it for you. 2. Sexist. What's a pretty girl like you doing driving on a big bus like that? It's a shame they do away with bus conductresses. Lecherously. I like a woman who can handle big loads. Misguided, politically correct. You have the perfect right to drive this bus. I shall enjoy this as much, if not more, than a similar journey with a driver of the opposing gender. Homophobically. There's no reason why a lesbian such as yourself can't do the job as well as a normal person. Metaphysically. Mighty are the bus stops of the soul, and you are the Amazonian charioteer of time's wage. Informatively. During wartime, many women drove ambulance and other public utility vehicles, ultimately leading to a post-war discontent amongst women as a workforce. Historically, this has proved to be a lasting consequence and a positive factor in the battle for equality and emancipation. And do you stop outside of Asda? Misogynistically. Carry on, madam. I shall wait for the next conveyance with a man. Marxists, this red bus is a metaphor for the uneven struggle, comrade sister. And this exchange of money between myself and yourself will inevitably lead to the downfall of the bourgeois capitalist state. Ken, liberal apologetically. I have nothing against women drivers. Don't get me wrong. Some of my best friends are women. However, in my experience, the best thing to say upon boarding a bus driven by a woman in Sunderland is £3.20 return, please. So anyway, after I went to university, I got a job on a building site as an existentialist. Julian is an existentialist. He works on a building site with Tom the labourer, Fred the brickie and Bob the hod carrier. It works like this. Tom fills Bob's hod up with bricks, Bob carries it to Fred, Fred builds a wall. Julian's job is to help the bricks understand their own reality. Tom has ham sandwiches for lunch, Bob has cheese and Fred has egg. Julian doesn't eat lunch. He feels this is saying no to a society which insists on social imperatives such as lunch. Sometimes the bricks argue with Julian, saying, but we have the right to freedom. Julian smiles. Man is condemned to freedom, but we are bricks, they cry. Why do you oppress us? Some days, the walls just won't get built. Julian doesn't sleep well. He dreams of a mass uprising of bricks, of boundaries collapsing all over suburbia, of Sunday morning street warfare with fly-mows and others clashing over disputed inches of turf, of middle-class landowners with nothing to keep their mortgages in. Secretly, Tom practices hod carrying, Bob practices bricklaying, Fred's doing a night sausage. Julian is an existentialist and lives outside of the restrictions placed upon him by the constant problem of having no self to esteem, no self to be ish with. This, however, doesn't prevent him sleeping with the gaffer's daughter, who has a BTEC in Freudian hairdressing, which means that every time she cuts someone's hair, they look like a dick.